excuse me. We're getting into the losers match of this first group. So this will mean whoever loses this is straight up out. No chance to get to the round of 8. The winner will face Inertio in the decider match. And of course, Drogo's already onto the round of 8. So he doesn't play anymore either. They are ready to go. We're just waiting for... Oh, Rishkin.
Me, apparently. I didn't know there's a lobby up. So let me get on in there. Don't start without me.
The first map's going to be on Frozen Temple, second Galactic, third Apotheosis. So, it's a TVZ. So I'm a little surprised that Kos vetoed Dason Station over Apotheosis. But luckily he got it at least third. Maybe not so scared. Kos can do some odd things that take advantage of a long game, shall we say. So... maybe he's not as afraid as other Terrans. Considering how well Kos played against, not Hearthstone, Drogo, and DIMAGA against Inertio, I would put Kos as taking this even 2-0, but that might have been the matchup. That's basically all it might have been. It might have been the matchup, it might have been the players too, I suppose, but DIMAGA looked okay, not great, whereas Kos looked great, not fantastic. Yeah, that's the way I'm going to put it. Let's see if it continues in the TVZ. Frozen Temple. In the top left, as the Red Terran, he is Kos.
And his opponent in the bottom right is going to be the Blue Zerg DIMAGA. And this feels like a match just straight up out of like 2014.
Right? It feels pretty old. I mean, even I would say Wings of Liberty, so 2013. Yeah. I don't like. It's great to see them come back, and apparently a lot of people, like a lot of ex-pro gamers, are coming back and enjoying Legacy of the Void, all the new units, all the new meta, and stuff like that, and that's fantastic. These guys have actually been playing fairly consistently throughout the past year. I would say DIMAGA has not really ever gone away. He just hasn't been in the spotlight as much. But it's still a case of like, yeah, it's cool to see these old names come back. I mean, Zaka is of course back as well. He came back yesterday for another group. Unfortunately, couldn't make it out, but still is a treat to watch him again. They're saying Kos bring out a old school for Legacy of the Void tactic. Well, I guess it's also like in general an old school Terran tactic, right? To wall off and be aggressive. It's just that Frozen Temple is one of the maps in this map pool that is available for that.
I mean, Kos, let's also not forget, got really, really aggressive in the first series, just generally speaking. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that was going to be his motto for this whole set, too. I mean, it's a different matchup. It's no longer TVP, but I think getting in your opponent's face as quick as you can is always a good thing if you find that they're not good at defending it. And that's going to be kind of, I think, the feelers of this first game. Like, Kos comes up with a couple of Reapers. It's not so dedicated. It's not super scary. And I'll let him get a good feel, like, whether DIMAGA can even handle it or not, frankly.
Yeah, I like that term, a good feeler. I mean, you could also go to proxy these damn things to get a really good feel, but 2 racks in Frozen Temple. Not quite 3 racks you usually see, but a lot of aggression. Thank you to Alaska Winter 923 for the 30-month resub. Here's to another... Did you really spell 2 wrong? I'm judging you so hard. Here's to another 30 months. Rifkin/Thundergrub, best casters forever.
Well, it looks like it was for another 30 months, and then you ruined it by criticizing his spelling of the 2.
No, he's never gonna resub.
Thanks for the 30 years of support, Alaska Winter.
He's complaining about the weather. Apparently it's 40 Celsius today. That sucks.
Oh Lord, I don't care where you are. That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear about
that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go outside, I guess. So, I thought it looked like cloudy and rainy and kind of cold, and I was totally wrong. The Reapers have started their aggression, but it's 2 racks, you know, and it's put us away that if the Overlords saw this, which, funnily enough, since seeing the first Reaper, they just kind of chill in the same location. They're both scouting the mostly same thing, whatever. They don't see that, so DIMAGA has no idea how many barracks there are. I think at this point you're kind of like, it's not quite a 3 racks, but it's obviously not 1 racks. But he has no idea if it's going to be a macro follow-up. 2 command centers, 1 command center. Hell, it could have been a factory follow-up, I don't know. Kos has done some weird stuff before. He just has no idea. So all he has to do is, I mean, first and foremost, he has to defend against this, and that's great, that's fine, whatever, but he has to get a scout, too.
Yeah. Well, as far as the initial game goes, nice on DIMAGA, not falling apart to this like we've seen other players do countless times. But this wasn't that same dedication of Reapers that we've seen either. So DIMAGA may end up... I was worried he may incidentally end up overreacting to this. I mean, look at that supply count, right? Technically, he has, but with more queens on the way and the amount of links he has, immediate surround on top of the Reapers is really nice too. If he can start squeezing in drones soon, he'll be great. I mean, he's got to recognize that there's a low amount of Reapers. And he's not even taking bomb hits. Like, DIMAGA's handling this well. I just hope he doesn't overling on this.
Yeah, kind of if you have any moment in time where you don't see the Reapers, like in the front of your base, it probably means you've pushed this back successfully. So I probably should start joining a little bit earlier, but never underestimating, I suppose, the power of multiple Reapers is kind of a good idea. You don't want to under-defend and then lose a game that you're supposed to defend in the first place. But with enough queens as well, the queen count hasn't really been being killed here. In fact, that one just barely surviving. I think he really could have gotten away with much more droning earlier on. And now Koss's 3 CCs are all done, so he has his own pretty damn good SCV production. Reapers are all surrounded, that sucks. Grenades can help out with the main push, but there's a wall. So DIMAGA, you're not going to be able to do very much. Even if he had a Baneling Nest, a Baneling Bust, I still wouldn't think that would be the greatest idea. In fact, Koss is a little scared of that. He's like, that was a good number of lings, so he puts a bunker, or 2. But all he has to do is send these 2 Reapers in. This would have been a grand time to do so. The Queens are out of position, the Lings are out of position. And he would see that there's nothing. If he gets to the other side of the map, he could see the 3rd base is on the way and know that aggression's not on the way. I think in the next 30 seconds, he'll just realize it. Of course, there's not a base bus on the way. And he'll salvage these bunkers, but still. Not the standard Reaper opener versus Zerg that we've seen, No Ravagers were formed in the making of this game. No Reaper, mass Reaper run-bys like you see from Thermal. And in fact, he did follow up the Reapers with not a factory in a 3rd CC, but a lot more barracks in a 3rd CC.
I like that disclaimer. No animals were harmed in the making of said game.
Yeah. Do you think a Roach voluntarily doesn't mind turning into a Ravager? Is it really an upgrade for him, or is it turning into a different beast?
I gotta imagine it's like puberty.
But forced puberty?
Kind of.
It's like a Pokemon evolution. Do you think Pokemon don't like it when you stop the evolution?
Depends how ambitious they are.
Well, sometimes they're better when they're not evolved, right?
Well, in conditions of training, yes, but not necessarily better objectively. Like, you don't want a level 100 Squirtle.
I actually don't know. I would counter with but you do want a level 100 blank, except I have no idea. Seriously, when they start introducing actual stat, what's the word? Breeding and the berries and shit, I was like, this is too much for me.
Yeah, IV training. I did IV training for a while. I was never that into it, but just the context here being if you've got a Squirtle, it'll learn to move faster than a War Turtle will, right? It'll learn it at 26 instead of 32.
Sure, I knew that.
So the idea is that by 100, there's not really a lot of skills left to learn considering that's maxed.
Oh, okay.
Super important stuff, I know. Let's be honest, all anyone cares about anyways is Pokemon Go, and we don't have to worry about any of that there.
That game really has to fix a lot of things, I think. The main being for me, and I guess for you too, not being able to catch freaking Pokemon where you live. There's just none around you. But so many
Mech is Beautiful donates $2. Thank you kindly. Says, plebs, show some love to Zombie Grub and Virtual Face Shifting Rifkin. Keep up the awesome work. Sorry I'm such a dirty ad blocker. Hope the donations make up for it.
Thank you. Mech is okay.
Mech is beautiful. I'm sorry, you're just wrong on that. This isn't even subjective.
You and Artosis, I'm surprised you guys didn't. I should have put you 2 together at the summit, and then it's been Mech. All right, see what happens.
I wonder if that would have been a situation where we both jerked off or jerked each other off.
This game hasn't had much going on in the last 2 minutes, but quick check on the scouting. DIMAGA doesn't know about the 3rd base. It's a good guess though by almost 9 minutes. Koss has scouted the 4th base, but not the amount of creep spread. So that's really where Koss is, I think, failing here. He's getting a really good army. He's getting decent upgrades, not great upgrades, and he's going for Hellbats instead of anything else, which is very old school, but He's gonna have so much creep to clean up, and it's gonna take forever.
Yeah?
Shut up. Creep. It's my shorthand word for creep cleanup. Thank you to Eldrick Horror. No, just Eldrick. For the 20-month reset. This section intentionally left blank.
Love it. I love it. All right, as he moves on to the creep, I do want to point out, we don't see it often, but we have been seeing a couple of players use Hellbats. I actually really like the idea of investing in the blue flame beyond this because there will be so many lings. The problem is, though, the Banelings will likely take out most of these Hellbats before they get to fry those lings alive. So I actually would hope he would keep a couple of these back and give up Marauders instead on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those Banelings from Nurture too. He's waiting. Or, sorry, not Nurture, DIMAGA. He's waiting. So, right, wrong, sorry. He's waiting, unfortunately, and he sends the Banelings in now. He sees that split. Everything's on creep, though. The Lings who got these surrounds, and Costa's army is just evaporating.
Yeah, tries to pick up at the last second. Doesn't actually dip down so far in supply. He was up, I think, 20 or 10 or something like that. And it did trade out with Banelings, right? So, Hero's gonna do okay-ish, but not great. The loss here is not in the army supply, which is still even. It's in the momentum. And, you know, while he cleared up creep over here, didn't really do so over here, this is a lost cause, I suppose. And he's falling behind on upgrades. Hive is about halfway done. DIMAGA is looking totally in control this game. I think Koss has realized this with that failure of a push, going for a 4th command center right now. Hopefully, you know, scans the Hive timing and adds on either a Ghost Academy or a 2nd starport. But he's trying to push again, trying to go to that location he just cleared a bunch of creep with. But DIMAGA is pretty quick with replanting that.
Well, as he continues to push in, there's that attack on his own 3rd. Gets a little bit distracted down here to the south. So the bunker buys a little bit of time, but not enough. Banelings will collide on the last remaining SCVs. Command center should probably be lifted. There we go, and that's going to be the end of that. Koss, instead of going home, decides to keep pushing the attack. Those lings are going to be annoying, but I guess he's recognized those are lings that are no longer on the front lines. Blue flame's done too, so washing off the lings not going to be an issue. But the Banelings, he's on creep. There's so much not going well for. I mean, Koss didn't even scan. He's not cleaned up these tumors at all. Yeah,
he is keeping the Hellbats and Marauders on the front lines, but there's so many Banelings, and he has to keep splitting the Marines here. There's just not enough to fall back to. A lot of his supply is in medevacs as well that are being shot down.
I'm not sure how well it was highlighted, but like right there at the end of the fight, those 2 remaining Hellbats took out so many lings. GG. DIMAGA will take the game.
Yeah.
But those Hellbats, I love the idea of, but it's the difference of those versus Widowmines, right? Like, Hellbats can't take out Banelings the way Widowmines can, but they can take out the Lings the way Widowmines can't. So there's a lot of pros and cons to going for Hellbats.
Yeah. Yeah. Always interesting to see, I guess, a different style come out, but there's a reason, I guess, Widowmines and tanks are being used more often.
So, someone in chat actually asking a fair question. Do Rifkin and Zombie Girl like to compete at StarCraft? And I would say we certainly used to a lot more than we do now.
I tried to be a competitor in like Clan Wars and stuff like 3 years ago.
And for me, I was just like having fun, chilling on the ladder.
Yeah, I was try hard.
I've grinded Masters a couple of times. It's not something I think is difficult. It just takes dedication. I don't know. I'm never in my career. I think I got to be like one of the only people that did this too. Never tried to be like a player first. I always actually played other games and got dragged into StarCraft way later. But I've enjoyed playing. I've never not enjoyed playing StarCraft, like whether it's the arcade or what I am now currently in love with being co-op. It's a fun game.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm an okay competitor, I suppose. I don't get super tilted, but I'm also not a super great mentality, so I've just given up entirely with competing. I'm actually a bit of a gloater, in fact. If I win. No one likes me.
So graceful is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. You should have seen me after I won Street Fighter games. It's all up in that. Everyone's faces. Yeah, I'm the best! Because I had no idea what I was doing. We were a Grandmaster in Archon mode.
We were.
Yo.
Good times, man. Although the Grandmaster
no
promotion was really lame and who cared? The Masters promotion was the shit. That VOD is on you. That VOD's actually linked down below in the info section. That was, I will say, without a doubt, my greatest feeling of an accomplishment playing StarCraft 2 was winning that match with you in Archon mode. because holy fuck, the guy was
That
street
guy.
cheating. He was
Abusing adepts
gloating
back when
about
they
it.
were so stupid.
Yeah, the initial iteration of adepts, which were the most broken we've ever seen. Like, there's so many things against us in that game, and the fact that we won it made me feel so fucking good.
Yeah.
That's
that
got to
was-
be. That's one of my favorite moments in StarCraft.
What if he was just the biggest BaseTradeTV fan, and this was all the long con
Plus-
to get us that relief? Like, just
You know,
like,
we were-
yes.
We were both dressed fancy as fuck for that too. We looked amazing in game and out.
Oh, that's right.
One time zombie I've ever wore a dress on stream, or second time. Excuse me.
Second time? No, no.
Anyways, people asking what's up with my webcam. I'm just trying to help Zombie write a document on Word.
Yeah.
I can see you're trying to save. Would you like to help print?
I see you're trying to argue with chat. Do you need help?
Yeah.
Alright, going into the game now. Second map is going to be Galactic Process. As I said, they did give us the map order.
And to answer that question for actual guys, I still can't bend my arms, so I can't wear shirts, and Twitch does not approve of shirtless streaming, so I can't use my webcam.
But
Panic
apparently-
Switch the other day contributed money to buy face rig, which apparently is just proven to annoy Zombie Grub more than anything else, but
No, the face rig is fine. The voices that you try and use sometimes are not.
the voices are great. You are just a
There's
needless
only
hate.
one. There's only one, and it's because it's just so high pitched. But
Is it the Deckbot one?
I was gonna say that they're apparently okay with shirtless ads, which is just a double standard right there. Anyway, in the top right, he is up one. It is the Blue Zerg DIMAGA.
I don't appreciate you insinuating that there would be such things as a double standard
That doesn't make
in
any
this day and
sense.
age.
What?
His opponent in the lower left side, he is on his last life in this whole tournament. It's Cass. So just a reminder that this tournament has nothing to do with WESG, guys. It has nothing to do with the Alibaba $200,000 league. It is just an independent World Cyber Arena organization and $15,000 in prizing for this European exclusive event. Now, I'm not actually sure what gets advertised or how they're planning to make their money on this. None of that's really evident, but all I know is that there's $15,000 on the line. Players are playing for a lot. First place in this tournament is like $7,500, and these group stages lead to the playoffs and, of course, the eventual grand finals.
Not quite as easy money as Sifano in the WESG. But it's still, like, I mean, comparatively to other tournaments, like a lot of money for, I guess it's a 4-day event, because of course they had to qualify. Some of them had to qualify, anyway. Someone asking, I guess, who I mained in Street Fighter when I played. So, I don't know her name.
God damn it.
What?
That makes it worse.
What?
If you're gonna, okay, my understanding of the story is you won a game of Street Fighter and you gloated about it. The problem I have is that you don't know what you're it's like winning a game of StarCraft, not realizing you played Protoss with adapts. You just like locked into it.
No, that is, well, I mean, that is exactly what it is, right? Because I actually watch a bit of Street Fighter. I kind of like it as an esport. I really want to buy it and like buy like an actual stick and whatnot. But anyway, so I know that some characters are overused and some characters are better than others. So I picked the girl that like laughs at people. You know, she's like, oh, like whatever her name is.
I don't play Street.
Sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the chat who might know.
Wow.
Sorry, but like I picked her because I knew she was commonly used, which is actually a decent character, and that she's just really haughty and like really kind of a bitch.
You're a hottie, bitch. Wait, is that a compliment or damn
Who
it?
knows? Oh, the Reaper almost died. So that's who I used. I think Scarlet played the big guy, Zangief, whatever his name is. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, all I know is I won. Woohoo! Reaper harassment's not so much to note here. There's a lot of talk about that last game, actually. Okay, there's a lot of talk about and how much didn't happen last game for Chaos. And what didn't happen was any follow-up pressure to the Reapers. So I kind of like these doing a different build, something that will have pressure, but it's Hellions, and like Hellions have not been very good at pressure for a while. I would say even Heart of the Storm they weren't that great. They were just, you know, you feared they turned into Hellbats, and then they were a little bit good. So I perfectly controlled is going to be perfect against what DIMAGA is doing, which is getting a lot of lanes right now. But there's also a chance Koss miscontrols them and just doesn't have anything, and loses his control of his natural.
Well, I commented on it as the fights were going down before. I like the idea of the Hellions. I like the idea of this opening maybe being reserved enough to bring them back out again, the Hellbats, but this is something where Nurture's got a lot of lings already. Okay. Yeah, and he's gonna be surprised to find him in the middle of the map, actually.
What are you gonna call Nurture when he finally casts him?
DIMAGA, man, damn it. I don't know why I keep calling him Nurture either. This is like, there's no reason for it, right? They don't play similar styles. They don't look the same. I don't know why I keep doing that. Dear DIMAGA, if you've ever watched this VOD, I'm so sorry. I hope you know I love you.
You're blue Zerg and you're racist. Alright, so that ended up being a big waste of lings because Koss was controlling his Hellions. DIMAGA really did not want that situation to happen. He wanted to get on top of the supply depots. He wanted to kill the Hellions. It was something, but that was really nothing for it. And that puts Koss in an okay position. The Hellions ended up being useful. That's about what I was talking about. Third City's about halfway done. The Liberator could maybe do some damage in the main base. Karen! There we go. Chat knows.
I feel really stupid right now. I mean, that's the third time I've called him Nurture. Alright, Liberator sets up. Gonna get some damage done. Mostly denying mining above all else, but gets chased off and distracts actually, so the Hellions have a free ticket into DIMAGA's natural. There's a couple of links here, but okay, he's gonna walk down that corridor and probably have no problem funneling them forward.
I like the way that Koss is using these Hellions here.
Yeah,
hey, like...
put that low one on the backside. There we go, even microing the low one back.
Nicely done. Liberator gave up trying to go to the main base. That was what was going to happen. But 3 drones went down, and he still has a couple of Hellions to turn into Hellbats later. It is going to be a tank push first, though. But mind you, this is like... This is not covered by very much. And in fact, with 2 tanks, that means that once they siege, only one of them can be microed. So I'm not even really sure I like this push. We'll see what he can do. If it's just a double tank drop that like kills queens, it'd actually be kind of awesome. That'd be cooler, I think, than sieging them up. But it's not.
Yeah. By the way, folks in chat are asking if tomorrow's playoffs are at the same time as Shellcraft, and the unfortunate answer is yes. That's nothing that we could avoid. But still be broadcasting it. The VODs are open actually currently. If you guys don't know, subscriber VOD is temporarily off, so hell, if you miss the games, you can always catch the VODs. Ooh, that Liberator gets picked off nicely by the Queens of the Spore Crawler. Transfusing like nuts here. Wants to shoot the medevac, obviously, instead of these tanks, but staying out of range. Koss gonna keep shuffling these around. Tanks get some more shots, and most of these transfuses are gone.
That ended up working much better than I thought.
Yeah, see, I did not think that was actually gonna be a problem for DIMAGA.
It's almost clever, but also, when you think about it, 20 lings flooding in... Like, you clean up this little bit now that the Hellions are all gone and the very few Marines are gone. He's getting them around the bend and it's taking forever. He's gonna pick up the tanks. This really, this should not have gone like this.
I mean, getting both tanks alive is cool. I actually really much more like that he just kept the medevac alive above all else.
Yeah. We saw a Viking, I guess, chilling a little bit here. Kind of rare to see a Viking nowadays, but it still does its job when it comes to tearing down those overlords. Just that Liberators are so much more tempting to get. DIMAGA's already pulled his overlords back, despite not having overlord speed, except this one. This one should die. 4th base already for Koss. DIMAGA not only just, like, lost health and transfuses and a good amount of lings on defense there, it seems that his macro really slipped. The queens were injecting, I suppose, but also just in general probably missing injects and, actually using his larva. So he's got quite a bank to get rid of. His lair feels later than it should be. He's on 4 bases. Macro hatchery just finished, so he's going to be able to use the bank now, but his upgrades are delayed too because of his lair. So 2-2 should start right now. There we go. Baneling speed. Everything at once coming down. I will give a lot of kudos to DIMAGA, though. He is keeping up on creep spread. Sure, it's because he has a lot of queens, but he's also just making sure to spread creep with every live creep tumor. Oh no, Viking! You didn't have to go. I guess I really need to transfuse. Koss, we might have the same situation as last game. We're like, okay, great, like your harassment's really cool, and the early game went kind of well for you, and you even managed to save a good number of units and get a good army. but there's no aggression now. He's still gotta wait for combat shields. With a 4th base, I think he might even wait for 2-2, like really until he's maxed out. And that gives DIMAGA a lot of time to recover from his macro slips, or his, you know, the amount of damage he took from that tank drop. That tank drop.
That tank drop.
Right into the hive, it looks like. I don't think he'll get to ultras before cost pushes, but if he does, that's totally on Cass. That's his fault. Ooh, you don't see these rocks broken down, believe it or not. Like, ever.
No. I think that if DIMAGA can use this sneaky hallway, New Sunshine, or whoever the map maker is, will finally be happy.
Yeah.
I know that he was very upset that no one used the hallways at all during the contest.
Wow, DIMAGA's creep spread. It's kind of what forces Cost to push forward, as he realizes it's encroaching a little too much. DIMAGA's reaching for a hide, so he doesn't have that big of a ground army, down 20 army supply, but still, it's, you know, it's got speed, it's got upgrades. It's gonna have upgrades in a bit. And it's on creep. So Cost has to be very careful. Oh, the tanks should do very well against these banelings, but Cost isn't pulling back this part of the army. There we go. Lings tried to come in from behind, I suppose? Yeah, that's what happened. Didn't do too much to help out. Upgrades finished, like, all at the same time. Wow. All 4. And DIMAGA holds. He's not under pressure on his 4th base yet. Even if he was, I'm a little surprised he hasn't gone for a 5th, and then he could transfer over to it. He's banking enough, but now he's banking for it. Oh, it's actually going to be a Greater Spire? That's a little mistimed. I don't know.
I'm not sure that I think he's really in a position where he can afford to do that. I mean, the army supply alone says that this won't last until it's finished.
Yeah.
Comes from the backside, though, with a large flood of Lings and Banelings, though a little bit surprising for Koss, but not going to be what wrecks him here. The Liberator's still standing, Queen's all falling. That's it, DIMAGA just lost everything. Yeah,
that arm supply is not something you recover from. Especially waiting for a Greater Spire. GG.
GG. Alright, I'm not sure if this will work. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Wait, hello? Test?
Nothing's happening.
Damn it! Never mind, don't worry.
Get that fixed. I know what you're trying to do.
No, you don't. Shut up.
You try and get that fixed. We're gonna go to a break before going to the ace match. Thanks for watching those ads. The last map is going to be Apotheosis. That's a little unfortunate for Koss. This does typically favor how Zergs are playing nowadays.
Yeah, it's the longer map that makes this such a pain, I feel. Especially nowadays with Terran doing a lot more rallying of their units and a lot less things like crazy drops or bulking things up. But we'll see how it plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left side, it is going to be the blue Zerg player, DIMAGA.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is Cass. Or Koss. Depends how you want to say it. There you go.
I want to say Cass.
I want to say whatever it comes out.
I go Koss more often than not because it's somehow in my brain that sounds more European than Cass does.
I think I automatically say Cass more, but sometimes I go with Koss almost accidentally. But I might be wrong.
Cass like gas?
Cass like almost cast, which is almost cats.
If DIMAGA wins this series and goes on to fight against Nerchio,
yeah.
Would that mean he was just passing Cass?
Huh. Well, I mean, the pun didn't quite work out, but
totally worked out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, in seriousness, though, if DIMAGA does win this to go on to face Nerchio, I'd say we talk about the group curse, but that has not been happening in the last couple of months, and Nerchio really did just look that good in ZvT versus DIMAGA. So, I would say Nerchio would even hope he faces DIMAGA again. I don't think he'd mind facing Koss, but it'd be different. Second Rax is on the way, so nothing sneaky at all. I did mention that, like, on Apotheosis, you know, the regular way to play Terran versus the regular way to play Zerg kind of favors the Zerg. Chaos could have thrown something in a little weird. You know, a Hellbat attack, probably not exactly ideal, because that still is time-based and still on map, but, I mean, like, Turtle Mech has been thrown out by a couple different Terran players on this map when it was first introduced. Not so much afterward. I think people have kind of given up on it, but you know, there was a possibility. Not anymore with the second Rax. It is going to be about that aggression, follow up with more drops and aggression, and hopefully just catching DIMAGA off guard at some point. DIMAGA is reaching for that faster hive, both games, I believe. Not in the like greediest of ways, but still he is reaching for it. And Kos might want to try and take advantage of that, hope to catch him without lings in certain places.
No, Reaper just poking out for the time being. I like that he's actually going to keep this alive for healing more than anything else. You can certainly sacrifice it, maybe get a drone or two, but I think information is going to be key when you're playing anybody in this game.
Sure. That's a lot of lings. No bailiness accompanying this should just mean this is the only amount of lings. It's still more than you would usually want, but it's certainly going to be able to take care of the Reaper and then probably try and counter onto the natural. Most Terrans, they got walls up already, you know? They're already started, and it finishes as they move out with the medevacs. Kos hasn't even started his wall, and in fact, he's not gonna get one. I think this is a problem. If it wasn't for the way the game is played recently, I would say sometimes not having a wall is better, because you have a wall and they kill 2 supply depots, because you can't defend against these lings, and that's you know, QQ more, but it's not about these 20 lings right now, I feel. It's about 20 lings maybe in a minute when he tries to push out. I love what DIMAGA's doing. DIMAGA hid these lings.
Yeah. The Marines are actually a little bit tentative to come here too. I don't think he wants to come off the ramp, and I think that's a smart thing. But with the extra lings coming in, that awkward wall... Oh.
Ah!
Perfect time. These lings getting on top of the Marines. Oh, he can get us around if he moves up for it, but the SCV's blocking on the south side end up helping out a ton for this fight. That was the difference of those Marines living or dying. The problem is, though, it did cost him his SCVs. 8 of them end up going down.
In a way, though, DIMAGA gave up that many drones to do that attack, so was it worth it if he couldn't kill the Marines that are going to get into that medevac in a second? Excuse me.
This donation, I don't know if it's trustworthy or not. And I'm not, you know what, I'm just going to read it. I'm sorry, I'm going to break the rules here. Boris donates $50 allegedly and says, "Hi, I'm not Riomar, trust me, don't read this."
Amazing.
But you are now the best Korean caster. And if you'd like to pick my avatar, please let me know.
Aang. No, Korra.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I'm so clever.
I think Aang was better anyways. Actually, no,
What?
who was it? The wind one before Aang. Kyoshi or whatever?
You mean air? Kyoshi was Earth!
Earth,
I mean,
thank
she
you.
was all against the Avatar, but...
She was badass and crazy.
She was.
Carapai also just subbed to the channel, so new sub, hype! Thank you very much. Marines are going to be sitting on top of these queens.
This is very dangerous. The armor supply is pretty even. With good micro, though, the Marines can all go down, or the Lings can all go down, sorry. It actually is the Marines that get surrounded and forced to pick up and kind of leave.
Yeah, they're actually, I think the Widow Mines should have been what was micro there. Medevac getting really low, but off of creep will barely escape for safety's sake.
Oh, jeez. DIMAGA does deflect that, and now should go back in a drone if it says makes 22 more lings, because he's still afraid, you know? It's usually not this 2 drops, usually it's the 2 drops after this that either pair up with it or are off to the right side. But DIMAGA really needs to drone. Kos has... Wait a second. Ooh, never mind. Kos does not have a 3rd command center. That's so odd. He starts his 1-1 long before his 3rd command center? Did he get extra barracks? No. I guess that might have been the ASCVs going down is why the timing's so odd, so off, but he is going into a macro game, regardless. And the even worker count is not good for Zerg at all. Even if it is on a gold base. I think he still wants to be up towards like 50 with a 4th on the way. Just trying to get now.
Well, before Kos wasn't cleaning up a lot of creep. Kind of hope he would, but it doesn't look like he's going to again. just playing really brute force tactics on the creep, and this is dangerous.
Not a lot of banelings, however. And as I said, like, anytime he doesn't get surrounded, he's able to micro out of the surround.
Nice
It's
focus fire
bad
on the
news for
banelings.
DIMAGA.
Really nice focus fire on those banelings. The Lings, of course, not able to deal with the Marines with how many medevacs are healing them, but the Queen's focusing down said medevacs. Maybe the next wave can take care of this, but DIMAGA doesn't have a lot of units left.
This medevac is almost useless, almost out of energy, and she probably will die to these last 2 Queens. If he had micro those medevacs, if he had stutter stepped a little bit, I think that Koss absolutely wins this game, but he's already in a winning... He's getting such a good advantage, that is. He does finally get cleaned up, only kills 3 drones, but so many Queens went down. DIMAGA's still on an unideal drone count. His lair wasn't even done up until then. He's finally getting banelings, though, in case a follow-up happens.
He got queened up.
The sound did not trigger for that donation. But thank you to also not Riomar for donating $3.14.
Hi in zombie face, also please.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
I feel like that's actually also. I believe that's also not Riomar, because Riomar would have just said hi.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah, pie in zombie ghost face when please. Pro tip: that shit goes everywhere. Don't like.
I would do it like
exploded like a grenade.
I would do it in
terrible.
the bathroom, and I would.
I did in the bathroom, and I had to clean up so much shit
Yeah.
from areas I did not think it would reach.
See, my disappointment is that I really can't eat it after it's been like smelling my face.
I did. Like some of it at least. Okay, this is actually an interesting wall off out of cast. Really unconventional to say the least, but I think there's still a hole on the top side if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
or is that actually fully walled off? We're gonna find out here in a second. Looks like it is fully walled off.
Okay.
What? That looks like a big gaping. I can walk through that hole with anything.
Yeah. I love it though. I talked about this before. We saw another Terran do the wall off here. Now with Bears supply depots.
Oh my god, top right. He's actually cleaning up creep. Oh my god! Sorry.
Okay. Koss, I thought he had a winning position. I don't think he's in a very good one, with his 3rd command center now down on the gold base, and even workers are just about. But he's at a risk here of losing his entire army to these banelings. The Widowmines have already been triggered. And this drop doesn't pick up as many Marines as he could have, but 2-2 is ahead for Koss. DIMAGA is getting to his hive just now, so Koss has another army fight in him. Oh, but he picks up as the Lings come for a counter.
He does have some units left behind, though, so this might not be the end of the world.
Tries to find a good location. Unfortunately, that Widowmine did die. Banelings now rolling in. The medevacs that were on the attack originally come back. The fresh ones are still on their way over. 13 ICVs go down, and this, I think, was okay for DIMAGA, but does he have anything back at home? Oh god. If he had like 6 banelings back at home, I think he's okay. Oh, in fact, Koss just drops on top of Lings, so the amount of Lings he had ends up being decent enough with 42 more on the way. I don't think this drop is going to do the same amount of damage as DIMAGA's attack with 17 SCVs. Yeah, that was unideal for Koss. He probably should drop like over here behind the mineral line or something. That was exactly the place he didn't want to drop. Things are not looking good for Koss even after that really great fight with the 2nd group of medevacs it was. DIMAGA not exactly going, you know, running away with this game. He's still down in supply, but oh, he has a much better economy, getting to a 5th base, and he's on the way to Ultralisk. If Koss can't do something with this push and gets pushed back again, which he might just be, there you go.
He absolutely is.
DIMAGA,
already on top of everything.
I think DIMAGA just wins. The Ultralisk Cavern will be done soon. Plating will be on the way, and there's still so much creep for Koss to clean up. You can't really rally an Apotheosis either, so he's got to retreat.
He had a great wall on the left side, but there's no wall on his top side, so not even so much as a bunker to help him defend this. I guess the amount of Lings really isn't that impressive about DIMAGA currently. And then the overall supply, not that scary, but it is all about what's looming on the horizon with that Ultralisk Cavern completing any second now.
Oh boy. Well, plating has to start. She doesn't have enough gas, that's the problem. Never took the gases at the 4th base. Never took gas at the 3rd base either. This is a little more excusable because he's been under so much pressure. They've probably been like attempted and then killed, but no, he definitely made a mistake over here. There he goes. There, now I take all his gases. Well, not all his gases. He takes more gases. He was still able to afford 3-3 adrenal glands and plating off of the gas intake. Could just have a little bit more. Creep cleanup finally going down this left side, but Kos had no vision off to the right. What are you doing? Oh man. They're being secret lovers together.
Holding hands. They're like otters try to sleep. They have to hold hands so they don't float apart.
Oh, well, they ran away. At least they'll die together still. Marauders on the front line is definitely your ideal situation, but DIMAGA is not... I mean, he's not really scared, I think. He's on his way to Ultras. They should be popping out. They should be starting soon. There we go. This attack was cleaned up. He lost 10 SCVs, including the Lover SCVs. Too bad.
Uh-huh.
But this
one's name was
push from
probably
Kos-
Romulo, knowing Blizzard.
Romulo?
Yeah.
Romulan?
No. Man, did you never do Karazhan or play Hearthstone recently?
No.
Okay, well, never mind then. You get a pass.
Thanks. I don't pay attention to lore.
It's not even lore. It's just a boss fight. They parodied Romeo and Juliet. Anyways, the April gets broken. DIMAGA's getting you with a couple of lings, but I mean, these Ultras might be his savior. Chitinous plating is done after all. 3-3's finishing up as I'm speaking. So while Kos has a very nice looking Terran army, and you know his army supply count's actually better than DIMAGA's, the type of supply DIMAGA has feels like it's going to be what matters the most.
Yeah, there's a ton of transfuses available too, and it's just, oh my god, he clumps all together with that stim.
And
All the banelings run to the left.
He never
Oh
cleaned up
dear.
creep, so all the banelings run in. Medevacs are going to try and fly away, but GG well played does get called. It looks like Kos will be out of the tournament, and DIMAGA will go on to play in the finals of the group.
Yeah, alright. Well, Kos, he looked really good versus Protoss, but not nearly as good, I think, versus Zerg. Or maybe DIMAGA looked much better versus Terran than he did versus Zerg. Either way, DIMAGA ends up taking the 2-1. We'll go on to face Nurchio once again in the decider match. Can't be looking too good for him, even in his own mind, but maybe he learned something from their first best of 3 and can use it against Nurchio or something like that. As always, they have to get the vetoes done and lobby set up, so we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.